here back in our Eagan, Minnesota facility where we do all of our manufacturing, all of our distribution. I'm sitting here with Chris.
Hello.
Chris handles all our technical support on all of our products, but primarily in the digital transfer section of our business. So if you're using any of our products, you have any questions, he's the guy to get a hold of because he can handle it. What we're doing today is we're going back and we're re-looking at RhinoDark, which is a heat transfer paper designed specifically for going onto dark garments. And you know, the thing is that with paper, we know we have a good paper. We know that we have the right printers because we're using the Oki data printers, which are designed specifically for this type of application. And the one we're going to be using today is the 711 WT, which has your cyan, your magenta, and your yellow, and then white toner, so that we can do a brilliant white onto a dark garment. They also make one, by the way, which is the 920 WT, and that one can go up to 11 by 17, right?
Correct.
Right, okay. So this one's 8.5 by 14. Most of the papers on the market are 8.5 by 11, but it does have that capability. So the other side of this is that once we have these two tools, we still have to make sure that we're dealing with the settings correct for the paper itself in the printing.
That is correct. Yeah, because with the settings, it is very important with any transfer paper that you have those settings correct in the laser printer. Otherwise, you will get jams or you'll get smears of the toner onto the paper. You want to make sure your media weight or paper weight setting is set high enough for the transfer paper, because a laser printer heats up the powdered toner and it actually fuses it to the paper. So if you don't tell the printer that the paper is thicker than a normal office sheet of paper, it's not going to heat up enough and you're actually going to get smearing, or it could actually wrap around the roller of the fuser. So it is very important to do that.
And that's not good.
No, that can cause a lot of problems.
And a lot of money.
Yes.
Of course. So, and then, I mean, and these settings are all set out on our instructions, right?
It is,
yeah.
Yes. All of our instructions will have, you know, the suggested settings. You'll have to check with your manufacturer printer, because the setting itself might be a little different, but you will have settings that will dictate heavier paper weights.
So the other thing that people should really be aware of is that when you get a paper, be it this particular paper or any other paper, is that you really do need to read all of the instructions.
Yes.
Not like me, where it's like, oh, temperature, pressure, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Instructions are important when it comes to the transfer papers.
Okay. Very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this so that you get a screenshot of all the settings.
Correct.
And then we'll go to print.
So once your design is ready to print, you're going to choose your printer and then go into the preferences of the printer. You're going to need to change a few settings to avoid jamming and misprints. So once you're in the preferences area, you should have some kind of options like you see here. These options are specifically for Oki, but all laser printers will have some kind of properties or preferences where you can go choose your feed source and your paperweight source. So we're going to start off with making sure we choose our paper source, or change the paper source. We're going to want to choose the multi-purpose tray. That's going to allow us to feed the paper from the front of the printer and have it come out the back, which most laser printers have a back output feed tray on, so that there's no curling of the paper inside the printer. So once you have your multi-purpose tray selected, you're going to want to click on an advanced feature, which should give you either your media type, which you see here, or paper type, or media weight, or paper weight. From there, you're going to want to make sure you choose the heaviest setting possible that your printer offers. Here with Oki, with the 711 WT, it offers a film setting. That's what we're going to use for the RhinoDark. Some of our other papers, we're going to use our ultra heavy settings. So whatever your printer has, just make sure you set it to the heaviest possible. One thing I did forget to mention, in some printers have a feature of your ICM method. Your ICM method you want to make sure is handled by the printer and not by the host system. Most of the time it is not critical whether you change this, but in particular the 711WT, you want to make sure it's handled by the printer, because the host system does not recognize white where the printer does. So if you have the host system chosen, you won't actually get white output onto the paper. So I always make sure that the ICM is handled by the printer. Then you're going to want to go into your job options, switch from a normal to either a pro quality or a fine quality. I usually choose fine. I find between the two I don't see much of a difference when it comes to the output on the garment. And then from there, if you are using the 711WT, I want to make sure your white's on if you do have white in your design. If you don't, then you can actually then turn the white off. So from there, you should have everything set and you're ready to send the job to the printer.
All right. And we're printing. The other aspect of this is that you notice that we're feeding this through the front tray, and it's going to come out in the back tray. Because of all the rollers in a coated product, we don't want to have any potential aspect of damaging that coating.
Yeah, because most of the printers out of the bottom tray will actually feed the paper forward towards you, curl it immediately to run it underneath all of the cartridges, and then curl it again to come out the top. That's a lot of turning of that transfer paper.
Right.
Has a really good chance of actually jamming somewhere in the printer. That's why we have it feed from the front. It goes straight through and comes straight out the back.
Okay, perfect. So we have our print looking through the polyester film, but remember that you're printing in a mirror image so that when we put it back down onto the shirt, it's going to be right reading. The other aspect of this with this particular printer is that you've set this so that you have a complete white coating that goes on top of all the colors too.
Correct.
Right, which is going to help give us the opacity so that when it goes down onto a dark shirt, that it won't bleed through. But when we get out to the print section, the next phase, you'll see exactly how that's done.
Correct.
So, great.
All right.
We'll move on.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're at the stage that we're actually going to do the transfer down onto the shirt itself. We've already seen the picture of our skull, RhinoDark, being printed out on a polyester-coated sheet out of a 711WT. You got to make sure that you go in and do those settings as we talked about. That will give you the best results. Now the nice thing about polyester is that it's dimensionally stable. It doesn't expand, contract with humidity. So no matter if it's summertime, wintertime, northern part of the country, the southern part, it's going to be stable. You don't have to worry about expansion, contraction. So we're going to take this, put it in contact with our B sheet. Now our B sheet has a yellow grid on the back, and then on the sheet, the white side, is what we're going to transfer. Everywhere there is toner on this sheet, this is going to transfer off and make it opaque so that it gives it a great look on a shirt. I like to turn back a corner so it's easier to get a hold of when it comes out because it is a hot transfer. So we line these up, put a piece of parchment paper down on top of it, and we're going to press this. Now, we're using the Swingman 20 heat press made by Hicks. We're doing this at 315 degrees. We're doing it for 120 seconds. What it does in this thing, as an example as well, it's all touchscreen. Just touch the temperature. I can adjust it up and down. Touch the time up and down. It also, right here is my pressure adjustment, so I can bring that up and down. And it gives you a readout here so that once you find what you really like, what's going to work best for you, you then can go and set it every single time. So you have that consistency all the way down the road. So at this point, we are going to wait for our time limit, and then we're going to do a peel. Now this is a hot peel, so it's important to do that right away. Okay? Our timer has gone off. So at this point, open it up, swing away, get rid of our parchment, and again, this is a hot peel. So grab hold of it and roll it back against the grain like this so that you can see that everything is transferred off of the sheet and it has bonded to the backside of our polyester sheet or our A sheet. Okay. So at this point, the first thing I like to do is simply trim away the outer edge. And the reason for that is that I want to make sure that if any of the B sheet transferred right at the very edge, I'm not going to be transferring it down onto the shirt. So we'll just get rid of that. Okay, so that's ready. We take our shirt. First thing is line it up on your press. And I'm going to press it for about 10 seconds. Why I'm doing that is to get the moisture out of the shirt, at the same time take any wrinkles out of the shirt. I'm also giving it some temperature so that I'm not going to draw my heat press down in temperature right away. So we just do that for 8 to 10 seconds. Take our image, line it up where you want it on the shirt. Put my parchment paper on top. And again, we're going to do this at 315 degrees, so there's no changing of temperatures back and forth. And we're going to do it for 30 seconds. Now, keep in mind that when we do this peel, it's a cold peel. So when you marry the two together, you have a hot peel. When you put it on the shirt, it's a cold peel. So basically, you can take this, set it aside, just do shirt after shirt after shirt. If you came back to it in an hour to peel it, that's fine. It just needs to be cool. We set it aside, and we come back later and do our cool peel. Okay, we have our shirt. It's cool to the touch. We'll just lay it down here, cool to the touch, get a hold of the film, and start rolling it back like that. Everything is transferred down onto the surface of the shirt. Now, this paper is kind of interesting in that when you first put it down, it has a high gloss. Some people like that. Some people prefer a matte finish, giving it more of a screen print finish. So what we're going to do is put it back up here. I'm going to put some parchment paper on top of it. And we're going to press that for about 15 seconds. What that's going to do is help embed it into the fibers of the shirt. But more than that, it's also going to then turn it into a matte finish. So you get two options in your looks with this. It's very simple. It's very easy. Peel our parchment off. And we have our shirt. RhinoDark can be put onto 100% cotton, 50-50 blends, also 100% polyester. You can put it on all your different dark garments. Simple, easy. RhinoDark by Rhinotech. You know where to find us. We look forward to the next time. Thank you.